It was
people were doing commercials
studio.
and
there was a lot going on.
There were photography and commercials and workshops and education and all kinds of that stuff in there. And I was very emotionally attached to that. So to make this transition has been an emotional journey for me, but I know it's the right journey. And especially for the community, we have so many people who are interested in their own dedicated spaces. And many people are interested in the open spaces as well. But
I think
so we're
you
kind of
should
trying to
premise
balance
this
that
by
out a
saying
little bit.
there is a waiting list.
There is a waiting list for these spaces.
So
for
the desk is gone.
There's one desk. There's one of the current dedicated desks available. And then what we're doing in that studio now is building 20 more dedicated desk spaces in the layout of kind of like semi-private offices. So
it's awesome.
So bigger than these.
Bigger
gotcha.
than these, yeah.
Like
and so
3 times.
Okay.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. It's going to really give another option to the people who are waiting. And we're tweaking the lounge a little bit so that we can be a little more versatile in there. It'll still be very loungy, but now we have options to do photography in there as well. So the photographers are not out in the cold.
You're not like, fuck those guys.
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, what's interesting is like the moment I made the decision to do that, suddenly all the photographers were coming out of the woodwork and like, oh, we want to rent the studio. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course you do. Because now we're getting ready. But they still have options. So that's really the big change, is that we're adding more dedicated spaces. I think it's going to draw in another wave of coworkers into the area. It's a great option for teams, for maybe enterprise solutions. So, what's really big right now are bigger corporations, like we're talking huge, like Verizon type,
right. IBMs
with offsite, groups of people in different cities working. And this is a great option for that, so that they don't have to buy a new building.
Right,
they don't have to,
right. But they get a footprint too.
But they have a place for their team to work exclusively
It's
and
how our
collaboratively.
EXP Realty, when we work that same way, we meet weekly and we collaborate with each other. What's going on? Who has property here, needs there?
Right.
And then we break off. And if you want to sit in the sunshine and do your laptop, or you want to work at home, or you want to work on your desk, then we break out, come back.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
really
cool
great.
thing about EXP Realty, we are the first real estate company that is entirely on the cloud.
Wow.
We don't have any brick and mortar building anywhere.
It's
Our
so
whole
cool. You
brokerage,
should see their
We have little
avatars
on our laptop. I can
pretty
walk
great.
into my cloud campus
Oh,
and
nice.
talk to a realtor from Florida in my company, or whoever I run into on the campus,
Oh,
right
wow.
on my laptop.
That's awesome.
I can go in and talk to my legal department, my broker, the finance, was my check correct, or
It's pretty cool.
it's pretty
That's awesome.
I remember the first meeting that they had here months ago, and they came here in this room, actually, in this conference room. And
My
they
avatar would be so ripped, by the way.
they had Ed had kind of displayed his campus up onto this TV screen here, and he was walking me through all the different departments in the rooms, and I was like, wow, this is super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, because there's no brick and mortar, the corporation itself, every transaction we get, we're getting stock in our company. Like, the new .com people are giving their employees stocks.
Right.
So we have like some kind of retirement when we finally finish, and it's pretty generous.
Oh, retirement's going to suck.
I don't know. I
Not
didn't
for
know
me.
I think retirement's overrated.
Talking about
I don't even know what that word means.
Right.
But
People are talking about retiring, and this is just coming from my personal experience, but everybody that seems to retire,
Doesn't
retire.
retire.
Well, no, they die.
and Phil, dissect the word.
They lose the purpose.
Re is again.
Hmm.
Re
Tired.
means again.
Right.
Tired.
Right.
I'm tired again.
Yeah, more fucking tired.
Why you want to get tired again?
It's terrible.
I had an aha moment when I
just had an aha
One or
moment that
two.
my microphone wasn't pointed at my face.
It is totally
Yeah, it's
pointed
awesome
at your
now.
face.
Yeah.
It's so good now.
Could
Were
be
we
that
not
you lean
hearing
back
you
in
the
your
whole
chair.
the
Yeah.
whole day?
We heard you.
I have alluded to this since I got back from Mexico. And by the way, Ed is the one who encouraged me to go to Sayulita specifically in Mexico. Because
really?
He had been there, and I had heard a little bit about it. And when I told him about it, he was like, "Oh yes."
Did he tell you
this
about
is
the rooster?
Definitely the place for you. He did not warn me about the fucking roosters, but it's all right. For me, that was kind of a little bit endearing. Mostly after I left.
Looking back.
But looking back, it was endearing. No, here's what happened to me. And I don't think we've actually downloaded since I got back on my trip.
No,
Ed and I
haven't.
Oh my God, you guys download?
We kind of download on experiences every now and then. And I haven't really done that with you about my Mexico trip. But here's what I kind of the big takeaway. Yes, I had a great time. I was social and partied and slept and all the things that everybody wants to do on vacation. But when I got on the plane and I was sad, I was literally on the edge of tears, not just because the vacation was over, but because I felt like I was leaving my home. And I'd only been there for a week, but I connected so deeply with it. And I felt this sense of mourning when I got onto the plane. And I thought, okay, my first thought was like, shit, I just found my place and my people, but I can't be there because I have two beautiful children here in Petaluma who have dads and who need, I would never take my kids away from their father.
Yeah. And the schools are much better.
And the schools are pretty amazing. And how can, I started feeling a little bit sad because I was like, oh my God, there's so many, many, many years before I could even get down there in terms of say living, if I wanted to live down there. Which is a bit of an over dramatization because I think that it's actually more realistic. But then my next thought was kind of back to our earlier conversation about building a lifestyle that just had meaning. What I had to really dig into, what were my experiences in Mexico that made me feel so connected and so happy and so calm and all of that? And can those experiences in one way or another be translated to my life here in Petaluma? So I have to dig deep and what exact moment did I feel this or this or this? And how can I replicate that here where I live for now, for the time being, right? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't see past the sand and the roosters and the people with no shoes and the old motorcycles that I fell in love with so much. I couldn't see past that. And I thought I was in desperation for a week. I was I was more depressed when I got back because I thought this is something that felt so incredible to me and I'm not going to be able to have that.
Until August, right?
Until I go back, which might be July. I may go back there for my birthday. I don't know.
Cool.
But it was an interesting experience. It highlighted back to the topic of retirement of I have such a strong pull that I don't know what it's going to look like. And this is something I'm putting out into the universe because that's what I did about this space back when I was in Spain. I don't know how it's going to look, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but my ass is going to be in Mexico at some point living a life. And it's probably going to be a very simple life. I'm that's okay with just just doing whatever I need to do to just be able to, to live down there with my children. It's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to look like or how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
It could be part-time that you live Petaluma and there.
I mean, I think it could look a lot of ways. I think in general, if I detach from the outcome, now that this is going to be a thing and I put it out there, I'm just going to detach from the path that's going to get me there for sure. Mm-hmm. But it did also highlight, I have an incredible existence here. I'm connected with so many amazing people, both inside the space and outside the space. And I have to just make an effort to whatever that feeling was, to tap into that here. And I think Keller Street helps with that, I mean, this is a pretty amazing place to be every day.
Yeah. Oh.
Hanging out with peeps like you, for sure.
If this is where you have to be.
It doesn't suck.
No.
For sure.
Boo-hoo.
But I know that feeling. There's such a quaint, beautiful community feeling of people just living peacefully together there. It's just incredible.
Simple. I think too, the simplicity of it was important to me.
You went to that cafe right on the square owned by the English lady from England.
I'm not sure the owners. I went everywhere. I pretty much frequented every establishment there. And I got really close to, my intention was not to surround myself with a bunch of tourists, but to really dive into the community. And that's what I did. The first night I was there, I think I met 15 people from Portland. I was disgusted. I was so angry. I was like, what the hell?
I'm trying to get away from you motherfuckers.
But after that, I just went and I just started really, the way to do that, the way to connect with the people in a town is to connect with the proprietors of the establishments, right? It's you talk to the owners, you talk to the people who work there. You ask, hey, where do I go for this or that? I mean, by the end of the trip, I had people who worked in certain places that I could go to and be like, hey, one time, you know, those flags that I have here that I want to fly between the buildings, are the ones that in Sayulita, they're hanging over all the streets, right? So I went and I asked him, like, I really want to buy these flags and take them home. He closes the bar, walks me across the plaza to the store where I can go buy this.
The flag store.
Yeah, the flag store.
That's what my kids, everything's
which, by the way,
store.
Was right on the corner of where my apartment was the whole week, and I had no idea. But how sweet that he just closed everything up, and he's like, all right, I'm going to take you. Same thing with the guy, you know, the fisherman who took me on the golf cart over to the other side of
on the creepy forest journey
in the jungle
to the coast. Yeah.
But it's you know, it's connecting with the local people, right? And that's what made it so interesting to me. And I felt like, honestly, it took no time for me to feel like I fit in.
That's the Ola Daniela.
The universe just heard you.
Yep. So I hope so. Listen, Are you listening? Hey, what was that book as a kid? I
have no idea.
It's a girl
what you're
book,
talking about.
Actually. It's like something, hey God, can you hear me? It's Judy or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Woo.
Just totally blew that one. All right, Ed, we're going to wrap this up.
Right.
I am so excited that you're here, and I loved hearing the same story for the third time. But now everybody on the podcast has heard it.
We need more Ed.
We do need more Ed.
Yeah, we could do more Ed.
We did a little more.
Yo puedo decir toda la información en español.
Oh my God. Oh my God, don't do it to me. There we go. Wrap it up. Turn the ditty on.
Adios, amigos.
All right.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Okay.